Hello everybody, and welcome back to Dome Keeper. We're going to be running the miner mode back, because I'll be honest, I was a little saddened at our performance, at our 800 and something performance in the last one. I thought we were better at miner mode than that, and our 2-4-3-4 score would suggest that. So instead, I'm sitting up in my gamer pose, and I'm going to run this back, and we're going to get a better score. And we're probably going to talk about some more incessantly random things. Because last time we spent pretty much the whole episode talking about... Well, it evolved from building a new PC to having a disk drive to how much Steam initially sucked back in the day. Some people will be like, no, Steam was great. It wasn't, and that's okay, right? I'm not outing you, I'm outing Steam. It sucked back in the day. But if you remember, maybe you don't, maybe you do, they all sucked back in the day. You know? Steam was terrible. OG Xbox? Terrible. PlayStation? Terrible. They were all bad back in the day. They're good at the time. When you look back on them, awful. Right? For example, like the Xbox Home dashboard kind of initial user interface that you come across when you turn on the Xbox. You know, when you turn on a PC, you're greeted with the Windows Start menu. What would you like to do? I can click on my apps and I can launch them. Sick. For a while, not OG Xbox, but like close enough to OG Xbox, they had the blades. Okay, this was a system of like... How best to describe? I mean, it was like a fan, right? You would, all the things you wanted would be hidden one behind each other, and you would like fan out the blades in order to tab to each individual blade. It's the slowest thing you've ever used, my dude. It was awful. And oh, yeah, a little bit of that. And it didn't get much better as things went on for a while, and for some reason they were like, do you know what our best invention is? And this is just Microsoft, right, in a nutshell. You know? I like the company. I like the things they make. I don't like the decisions they make. So they go through these, like, the blades, and they change the dashboard up again, and they change it up again, and then eventually you had, like, the initial 360 dashboard, and that was okay. And then, for a little while, and I don't know what made them think that it was a good idea. They overestimated their success, or their belief in themselves on Windows 8. You remember Windows 8? Most people do, because it was awful. They were like, let's do that, but on the Xbox. Now, if you're too young to remember Windows 8, which... some people will gawk at and be like, oh, too young. It wasn't that long ago. True, but some people are that young. If you're too young to remember Windows 8, or you weren't an idiot and didn't upgrade of your own volition to Windows 8, some of you might have done what I did, where you buy like a system that comes with Windows 8, and you're just fighting an uphill battle the whole time. If you don't know what it was Microsoft's decision to take everything good about Windows 7 and get rid of it. I don't know why they decided this was a good idea. But every good thing that they had done in Windows 7, which was a lot, right? Windows 7, to some people, was the perfect Windows operating system. Flawless. They thought, do you know what? The taskbar, the apps menu, having a convenient unified desktop format. Nah, we don't need any of that. What if we, in our infinite wisdom, just screwed all of that up, shot it all away, and instead made the whole desktop UI look like a big phone? That's what people love, is our Windows 7 phones. Now, to be fair, I owned a Windows phone. And you're going to say, did you work for Microsoft? No, okay. I know the only people who ever used a Windows phone worked for Microsoft. Not true. I used a Windows phone, and so did my mother, thank you very much, and she loved it, and so did I. Okay? The Windows phone that we had was actually really good. So, you fucking iPhone user, how about that? Anyway, they thought, in their infinite wisdom, people like the Windows 7 phone. It was okay, right? I don't know why they thought people really liked it. People thought the Windows 7 phone was okay. Let's do the entire desktop like that. So, it was huge, square app. If you ever used a Windows 7 or 8 phone, you know what I'm talking about, right? Where the apps were small, medium, or large squares, tiles, I believe they called them, in a long scrollable list. So you had an apps menu the same as you used to, but it was hidden away through I think 2 or 3 drill downs. Terrible idea. But they had this tile set up, and you kind of would scroll to the right. You know what I mean? If you wanted to move it with your hand on a touchscreen, say you'd grab it and you would move your hand from right to left to scroll, and that's where all of the tiles would extend off into the distance, down that way. And so they had this tile setup in Windows 8, which was so far from Windows 7, and quite frankly, so far from anything truly good. And I don't know why they did that. But they made this Windows thing. Terrible idea. And they decided to do that for the Xbox as well. Eventually they got rid of it because I think they understood that it sucks and nobody likes it. And the same way that in Windows they then released, this is tangents on tangents, okay, but bear with me. They then released Windows 8.1, which was the 2, maybe 3 good things that they had done with Windows 8. But there were a few good changes, okay? Let's not just talk in generalities. In general, it did suck, but they did make a few good changes in Windows 8, and they decided to keep all of those good things and pretty much just completely go back to Windows 7, and that was Windows 8.1. The fact that they had to release an intergenerational update to Windows should tell you everything you need to know about Windows 8, right? They never do that. They haven't done a Windows 10.1 or 11.1 or even 7.1, but there was an 8.1. So they did that. They changed almost everything about Windows 8. They put it back to Windows 7. You had a taskbar again, thank God. You had a start menu. You had apps. Things worked though. Like everything was an app in Windows 8. You'd open like the internet app rather than just having like a browser system on your system. You know? Everything was app based because they were too iPhone pilled at the time. They're like, people like iPhones, we should do that, but PC. Anyway, they fixed that in Windows 8.1, and then they did roughly the same thing to the Xbox. Where they were like, do you know what's like genuinely terrible? Yeah, or everything we've done here, let's give it like almost a PC user interface, which was a very smart decision on their part because it made everything easier to use and people really liked it. And so, it's what I'm talking about, right? Everybody who makes a user interface, it used to suck. Steam used to suck. Steam was nowhere near as good as it is now. And that's okay. I never played on a PlayStation other than 2. PlayStation 2 is truly one of the best consoles. But I'd also say that about the GameCube. Anyway, I don't know about their user interface. I remember it being a bit of a pain on like like other people's PlayStations that I'd play. On the PlayStation 3, I think. I hated that user interface. Having that top bar kind of thing. It could have been me being an Xbox guy, right, and being used to hitting the gem and it pulling up. It's essentially what they had done was if you press the Xbox gem, it pulls up a menu like when you press the Windows key on a keyboard, and it brings up the Windows key menu. They did that on the Xbox. It made a lot of sense. PlayStation had this. It had that like an Apple Mac top bar kind of thing, right? I guess they were also Apple pilled. I hated that. I think I don't know about the like PS4, PS5. I mean, I assume they changed it because you know you update your UI every time. Like the latest Xbox. Again, I've been over this. I forget what the latest Xbox number, like the alphanumeric code assigned to it. Series X, I think. They've kind of Windows pilled it, and it's good. It's a much better system than it used to be. I like it. GameCube? That was, I don't know. It's hard to ever judge a Nintendo system on their, like, on anything, really. Mostly because they're a bunch of idiots. And they don't make unified decisions, ever. I'm not going to turn this into a rant about how much I dislike Nintendo as a company. I love the games they make. I just hate everything else about them. No, we're not talking about that. You can't convince me to rant about that. So, it's hard to judge a Nintendo console on their user interface because it'll change. It's like the weather. You don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes, it'll change, you know? Don't like a Nintendo OS? Wait a generation or intergeneration, or even just add another attach another console to your current console via a link wire, and then everything will change. Anyway, suffice to say, people are pretty universally bad at UIs in the first go around, and then they get much better. And that's what the world is all about. About evolving, changing. I don't know that we're gonna hit our marks here. Do a little bit of that. Take a scan delay, I guess. And the teleporter was nice. Yeah. So I don't know how I keep getting to where I'm talking about these things. It's just kind of happens. Which I'm fine with because it's minor mode, right? We're not in any grave danger. I'm basically here to shoot the shit with you, which I really like. It's like the Dome Keeper podcast. But I can't name any more episodes of the Dome Keeper podcast because I name like 2 or 3 of them the Dome Keeper podcast. And you'll be like, oh, it just means he's talking about things again. Ugh. I want to see him play the game. I'm sure you don't actually sound like that, but the particular straw man I made up for that bit does sound like that. Are you, if you're listening to this, you know what? If you are listening to this and you feel like commenting, mobile, phone-wise, what's your OS? What's your operating system? Are you an Android? Are you an iPhone? On a PC, are you a Windows? Are you a Linux? Are you a Mac? You know what I mean? I'm curious. I've never used a Mac. Don't ever intend to. I've only seen other people use Macs. I hate the way they work, but I think that's because I'm just Windows pilled and I'll never go back. That's fine. I've seen Linux. I've never used Linux myself, but my dad used Linux for a while. He wasn't one of those like Linux guys. You know the ones, you know the Linux guys I'm talking about. They're like, I value my privacy over everything, so I only use Linux because it like hard closes everything when I leave and nothing's ever running in the background. Yeah, and that's the only way I bank or whatever. He wasn't one of those guys. He had like a Windows laptop and something happened to it that like he had to basically go into the recovery thing, you know, like Windows recovery to like get your Windows back after a change. You had to make a change because of some issue when you went into the Windows recovery thing, and it failed, right? The recovery tool that was supposed to save his OS failed. Classic. Thanks, Microsoft. Thanks, Big M Dog. And so he was like, well, I'm not going to pay £120 for another copy of Windows. Just not going to do it. And you got to respect the man for that. So instead, he downloaded Linux, which was, I think, a fun experiment for him to play around with. I've always been curious about messing around with like a little Linux laptop or something like that. Because basically, it's like, what if you did everything yourself? You know? What if you got like the freeware open source version of everything that exists and you just played around with that and had fun? And I mean, he kind of enjoyed his Linux laptop. It was cool. But I'm not a Linux guy, though I know you can do some kind of cool shit on Linux. I'm Windows pilled. I just want the thing to run, which, I mean, it begs the question, why am I using Windows? Haha! Got him! But yeah, I'm not a Mac guy, never will be. I'm Windows. That's the way to go. Especially if you're a gamer. You're a PC, like a personal desktop computer gamer. Don't game on a Mac. It's not a commandment either. I'm just saying. For your benefit. Don't do it. You're better than this. Game on a Mac, game on a PC, where games are optimized to run. Unless you're like, I only play The Sims, and I do color grading in, for video editing. Then you can use a Mac. I'll allow it, I suppose. You're gonna force my hand. But for the most part, just use a Windows PC. Or Linux. I missed having the teleporter, by the way. 184. What were we on? Well, we finished on 800. Again, I don't remember if that doubles. Do a little bit of that. Oh, I was meant to buy the thing that tells me, oh, what am I trying to say? Right, the thing that tells me what wave we're on. It costs 2 water. But I was thinking, oh, I should get that, and then I'll know, like, where we're at. We're at 55 points per wave. Oh! You know what? I don't have any water. I remember how we did it. I remember how we made such a good score, I think. I believe we shredded every single gadget to cobalt. Yeah. Now, I've already taken a gadget, so I'm not going to be at the level that I was last time. But I think we can find some water, unlock this, shred it to cobalt. Oh. Yeah, buddy. Boop. Let's do this. And I want to say the last time that I did this, I shredded one of these and 2 gadgets, I think. So that's like 6 extra cobalt, which is only like a 3x multiplier, but I was able to get them much earlier because I could just shred them as I found them, and like in this case I would already have been at times 6 for who knows how long. How about you? Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get a high score in this one, which is fine. I'd hope to get a higher score in the next one, or at least attempt. I'll probably have to do one more of these, because if we're not going to beat our score, and I'm not concerned with getting the highest score ever. I've never been a leaderboard guy. I honestly, I hate any game that has some interaction with leaderboards. I'll discuss that in a second. But we're 119, 118 on the leaderboard. If you think about it, a few more points, could be sub 100. Top 100 gamers of all time of this season in Dome Keeper, in Miner mode. There's a lot of caveats, but it could be me, right? I want to do that. I want to try at least. Anyway, off to the new tangent that you've enticed me down, you heathen. You did this, and I hope you know that. I absolutely abhor any game that's like, hey, do X on the leaderboards. I hate it. I hate leaderboards. I hate competing with other people. I know I'm a gamer, and I know everything I just said about being 119 because I could be top 100. I actually don't like competitive games. Kind of. There's more caveats to be heard here, but just bear with me for a sec. Okay? Like a game like a Call of Duty, right? For example, let me sip. A game like Call of Duty, where there's PvP content, where you face a bunch of other people, either on your own or like with a group. I love that. That's fun. That's fun competition. Mostly because I also... I think there's a deep dive into my psyche here that we're about to experience that even I didn't realise we were going to hit. So, Call of Duty, 4v4, 6v6, 12v12. However many people versus however many other people. That's awesome. I love that. Solo versus solo. I hate that. I hate personal, one-on-one or solo-based competition. Even like a free-for-all where it's you versus a bunch of other people. I don't like that. I like having a team in pretty much everything I play. Which is why I hate, or I think why I hate leaderboards. Because it's essentially an every man for himself competition. And I don't vibe with that. I don't know why. Just, I don't like competitive things. I don't even like competitive things against friends. Like competitive board games I struggle with. I don't like fighting other people. I like cooperative stuff. For the most part. I mean, I can get down with some competitive board games because it's the spirit of the board game. Like Monopoly. I'm a fucking fiend in Monopoly. The second everything's going wrong, ugh. Game sucks, hate the game. I don't really, but yeah, I'll say it. I'll hate the game. Game's awful. The second everything's going right, I'm like, ooh, money please. You know, I'm a real piece of work in a Monopoly game. But I don't like leaderboard based things. I don't like chasing that top leaderboard slot. I don't know why. And I especially hate, and this was a problem back in the early achievement days on like a console. Or trophies, you know, on PlayStation and stuff like that, where they wouldn't have that many ideas for achievements. You know, the game maybe just wasn't conducive to it. So they'd be like, oh, why don't you become the best... Here's an achievement idea. Become the best player in the world. Oh, really? Fuck you. How about that? Become the best player in the world is an achievement. It's supposed to be achievable, arsehole. Not become like an Overwatch pro. Not be... you know, part of Team Mythic and Halo. I just want to play the game, and it should be like... there should be no leaderboard-based achievements. Oh God, we are deep diving on my psyche here. There should be no leaderboard-based achievements, because I already hate them, and if your achievement is to become in the top, like, 5 players ever, you're terrible people, and I hope all of the people who developed the game are fires. No, I'm just... it is what it is. And there will be games like that back in the early days where the game didn't have enough stuff to do for achievements. But hold on, gone the wrong way. Have I? Where am I? Where's the middle? Oh, here's the middle. Weird. For some reason I thought there was loot somewhere that I could grab. Anyway, some games would do that. Because there wouldn't be kill 4 people with a grenade. You know, that's an achievement. Become the best player ever. Anyway. But I, personally, hate leaderboard-based things like that. And I'll never be convinced otherwise. But I can get down, and I don't even like, you know, solo v solo competitive stuff. But I could be convinced to get down with some like board game competition. That's good stuff, right? That's not like, I don't know. I'm struggling to identify what it is I don't like about it. I just know that I don't like it. Which is weird. There's something there, probably. I never even like wrestling games. I don't play them anymore. When I was younger, I'd play the occasional wrestling game with some homies. I never liked fighting them. I always wanted to fight the AI. Or even if we were a team fighting other people. I'd prefer that. I don't want to be at my own homies. And I don't know why. I think it's, yeah, maybe it's because I respect them too. Maybe it's because I, king of all the lies survey, am too good of a person. Just such an overwhelming beacon of power and positivity that I don't want to put my friends and homies in that position where we ever have to face each other, because they'd lose. That might be that might be what it is. I think I've discovered it. I'm too humble. That's the problem. It was there all along. I'm just such a good, unbelievably high-tier peak personality. Oh, who would have guessed, dude? It was me the whole time. Oh dear. Give me some points. We're on wave 19. Wow, we're so close to being finished, but I don't have the points necessary. I'm gonna have to rewatch that one to figure out what I did. You know, like where did I pull all those points from? Okay, there's something down here. I've got to remember to use the damn probe. What's it called? Prospecting meter. That's it. Oh, okay. Too little. Too many. Cool. Okay, so I believe this is the last wave, so I need to try and make it count. And here's what we should do. We should observe and see if we get double points at the end of this. I think we will. I think it will do the same thing that all of the other modes do. It just doesn't tell you, right? So it will give you double points. It just doesn't actively say that it gives you double points. Bam, 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 bam. Boom, boom, boom. There are more cubes. But I can't take too many because I need to take all of these back, and I don't want to run out of time. Let's get these back, and then anything else that we can get is gravy. So, in theory, are we going to be at 899? No, we're not. We're going to be way higher than that. So, sorry, 685. It doesn't matter. We're going to be at points, and I want to see if they double. Okay. Bit of that, bit of that. Easy money. And we're not going to have enough time to get anything else, which is fine. So I'll hang out here, and let's see what we can get. 685. Okay, remember that number. Bam, ba-dam, bam, bam. It doesn't double? How the hell did I do that? How did I get 2434 if it doesn't double? Did I just go sicko mode? What? We're 118 right now. Wow. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to watch that episode and see what I did to just be so powerful. Okay, well, for now, we got less this time than we did last time. What? I suck, I think. I'm gonna watch the damn video, okay? For now, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. If you did hit the like button, it helps out a great deal. I really appreciate it. I love your faces for it. Consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Check the links in the description, ring the notification button, and I'll be back to try and, after I watch my own video, to see how I got 2434 as a score when I haven't even breached 1,000 in the last two. In fact, I've done worse time over time. Year to date, we suck. I'll figure it out. Anyway, see ya!